the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. Might I haven't seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. Might I haven't seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help.
Money. All you got is money. Being wealthy. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything. Not having it is. Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's wrong. You don't like money so much, right? Get up and go to work. Yes, I do. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. Not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez.
Good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. I truly count it an honor, a privilege, and a blessing to come before you each and every morning with what I know about building wealth, business, entrepreneurship, branding, marketing, whatever I have, I want to give unto you. Andre, my man, top of the morning to you. Brandon, what's up, cuzzo? How's it going this morning, guys? Today we're talking about blessed to be a blessing, right? That's what we're going to be talking about today on today's show. I'm not going to delay any further. We're going to get right into the show, man, because I'm super fired up about this topic. I love the idea of giving your way to wealth. But there's some caveats that you got to understand with this whole giving business. And I want to lay it out for you guys. And it may rub some of you guys the wrong way, but I'm going to give it to you honest, the way that I see it, and the way that I've used this to work in my life. So let's get right down to it. In case you stumbled up on this show on accident, I want to let you know exactly who this show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only. If you're ready to get up, get out, and get something today, this show is for you. This show is for my people who have legacy on the brain, meaning when you went to bed last night, you were thinking about what you're going to do today, what you're going to do tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years from now, to make sure that your children's children will be proud to bear your name. This is your show. If you are the type of person that has the discipline to build wealth, you got the desire, but maybe you lack a game plan, maybe you need a coach, a mentor, maybe you need some strategies, maybe you need to surround yourself with some different people, well, guess what? This is your show, because these are the type of people that you want to engage with. So all the people that you see commenting in the stream, send them a friend request. These people are serious about building wealth. If you are the type of person like me, go to bed every night thinking about your affirmations, and you're reading your affirmation cards, you're putting a to-do list together every night because you are building your family's empire, this is your show. Now, on the other hand, who is this show not for? If you are that pessimistic person, then this show is not for you. If you are that person who's sitting back saying, yes, Donald Trump is a businessman, so America is a business, he's going to fix the economy, instead of focusing on your economy, this show is not for you. If you are one of those perfect people who got that weird relationship with money where you think money is a dirty word, you think capitalism is evil, this ain't your show, man. Because when you have that kind of relationship with money, what you tend to do without even knowing it, if you think wealthy people are jerks and you think money is evil, your subconscious mind will never allow you to attract something that's evil to you, will never allow you to become a jerk if you think wealthy people are jerks. So when you have that kind of relationship with money, you tend to repel money away from you. So this ain't your show, because the people who listen to this show tend to attract money, prosperity, success, and other things into their lives. So if that's you, you can exit stage left and we won't be disappointed. Because like I tell you each and every morning, if you've never seen a future billionaire before, I want you to take a screenshot and hold me to it, because you're looking at one right now, right? And if that rubs you the wrong way, this is not your show. And I don't care if you sit on the sidelines and cheer for me or cheer against me. It makes me no never mind. But here's what I recommend that you do. There's not a single billionaire on this planet that has not helped others become billionaires, mega millionaires, deca millionaires, millionaires, six-figure households, and the like. So my advice would be for you to get in the game with me. Look at how many billionaires Zuckerberg created. Look at how many billionaires that are in the wake of Bill Gates. Look at what Iyanla Van Zant has become. Look at what Dr. Phil has become because of Oprah. So you can sit on the sidelines if you want to, but I recommend that you get in the game and play with your man H Cortez, and we can grow and chase this thing together. Today's show is brought to you by All Amateur Sports Network. Guys, if you are looking for a creative way to get your message in front of tens of thousands of people, then I want you to consider partnering with All Amateur Sports Network. We are the digital media sponsor for the 2016 Normandy Holiday Invitational Tournament. That is a huge basketball tournament here in the St. Louis area. And my company, All Amateur Sports Network, is providing digital media coverage. That means we're doing the pregame, postgame, and halftime show for all of those games that will be streamed live, all of the highlight videos and all that kind of stuff. Great way for you to get your message in front of tens of thousands of people at a low cost. We have sponsorship packages starting at just $50 all the way up to $1,000 that will cover the entire event. So if you're looking for a way and you own your own business to get your message in front of tens of thousands of people, or if you just want to support your man H Cortez, then you could pick up one of those sponsorship packages and either sponsor a game, sponsor a halftime show, sponsor a pregame show. We do a halftime festivity, so you can sponsor a halftime half-court shot, things of that nature. So if you are interested in getting your message out, or at least seeing what kind of packages that we have and the things that you get if you become a sponsor of the network, then shoot me an email at info@allamateursportsnetwork.com, or you can inbox me, or you can call me at 314-874-6887. As you guys know, I talk about my race to $1 billion, and one of my pillars that I'm going to stand on is media, and I'm doing that with All Amateur Sports Network. Is my main media company that I'm using right now. So if you got a business and you want to get your business in front of tens of thousands of people, because when I do these highlight videos for kids, I got a video right now that I put up about 2 or 3 days ago. It's already got almost 2,000 views. So your ad can be embedded in that highlight video and give you that kind of exposure. So today we're talking about blessed to be a blessing. Guys, the book I read tells me that if I give, it will be given unto me, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Right? But here's what you have to understand. There are some caveats with your giving. But all of the wealthy people that I study, and I study wealthy people, why? Because I'm on my way to being one. Guys, if you want to be something, you have to study people who are already doing what you want to do, have what you want to have, and or where you want to be in life. If you're not studying wealthy people, then chances are you will never become wealthy, because you have to get to understand what they do to have what they have, or what they did, what they went through, what they had to overcome, right? All of those things, you know, biographies and things of that nature, unsung. I like to watch all of that kind of stuff. I like to read bios and things, not because I want to be able to ask those people for a handout, but I want to understand what they had to go through and how they overcame it. Because guess what? Chances are, if I'm going to race to $1 billion, I'm probably going to have to go through some of the same things that Zuckerberg went through. I'm probably going to have to go through some of the same things that Bill Gates went through, Donald Trump, Oprah Winfrey, on their way to billions. Now, I'm not going through any of the things that they go through now because I'm not there yet. But chances are, as I start to build my empire, I'm going to have to jump through some of the same hoops. I'm going to have to overcome some of the same things. So what gives me a heads up is I have mentors who are already there, 6, 7, 8, even 9-figure guys who are mentoring me, saying, hey, if you want to build and you want to race and you want to do this thing on a major level, here's some things that you have to put in place first. And as I continue to grow, I stay in their pocket, and then they say, okay, now you're at this level. Here's some things that you want to watch out for. So guys, if you don't have things in place, and I'm gonna give you this before we get into the giving. There's 5 things that all wealthy people have in common. Now, they have more than 5 things, but I want to help you, because some of you guys are like me. You're saying, you know what? I want to be a mega millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a billionaire, but I just don't know how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you what five things that all wealthy people have in common. Number 1, all wealthy people have multiple streams of income. If you are only making money from your job, you have no chance on being wealthy. All wealthy people have multiple streams of income. And I hear people say all the time, I don't have time to do nothing else. Well, you don't have time to get wealth. You don't have time to be wealthy. All wealthy people have multiple streams of income. All wealthy people have residual income. And the definition of residual income is figuring out how to do something one time and get paid for it over and over and over and over again. Right? Multiple streams, residual. They also have passive income. What is passive income? Passive income is the income that you get when you leverage other people's time and talent, or you leverage systems, you leverage things. You know, it was J. Paul Getty said, I would rather have 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own effort. Why? Because if 20 people fell off his list, he'd still be getting 80%. If he had 100% of his own efforts and something happened to him, then all of his income is wiped out. Some of you guys are only making money from your own effort. Get some passive income in your life. Get some residual income in your life. The 4th thing that all wealthy people have in common is they all have business systems, right? Why are systems important? Is because we know that our most valuable and most precious asset is time. And if I can make $1,000 a day, but it takes me 15 hours to do that, that's not a good use of my time. On the other hand, if I can build a business system that will make me $100 a day, I would much rather do that. Why? Because if I want to scale up to $1,000 a day, all I have to do is put 9 more systems in place. And now I still make the same $1,000 a day, but it doesn't take me 15 hours to do it. Business systems are extremely important. Start to understand, start to get around people who use and manipulate business systems to create income, right? And then the 5th thing that they all have in common is all wealthy people. Every wealthy person on this planet, even somebody who is $78 billion rich like Warren Buffett, all of them have mentors in their life. So if you don't have those things in place and yet you yearn to be wealthy, start putting those things in place, because those are some of the keys that you're going to need to build wealth for you and yours, right? But today we're talking about being blessed to being a blessing to others. But here's a couple caveats that you have to understand about giving your way to wealth, right? If you don't understand these caveats, instead of giving your way to wealth, you will tend to give away your wealth, right? I want you to understand that. You can give your way to wealth. That means we are blessed to be blessings to others. So the more you give, the more is giving unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, right? We all understand that. But if you don't understand these caveats, instead of giving your way to wealth, you will mess around and give away your wealth. So you have to understand that. So what do I mean by that? If I'm going to be be giving so that I can receive blessings, then the number 1 thing I have to understand is I have to give from my abundance and not my resources. See, I have to give from my abundance and not my resources. Some of us are giving from the resources that we supposed to be using for ourselves, and we continue to struggle because we are just genuinely kind-hearted. You know, that's my wife. Just will help any and everybody, and sometimes she's helping any and everybody with the last that we have, right? So what tends to happen is we are definitely blessed, but a lot of times we're giving away all of our blessings and before our cup is full and running over. We are supposed to be giving from the abundance of our overflow, right? Giving from our overflow. That's what we're supposed to be giving from. But a lot of us are giving from the resources that we need to survive and maintain ourselves. And turns out that when we're giving from that place, now we're struggling, and it's hard for us to see our blessings because we've given them all away. So number one, if you're going to give your way to wealth, then understand that you can't give everything you have. You have to give from your abundance, right? You have to let your blessings stack up to where they start to overflow, and then you give from your abundance. That way you always have your resources that you need to sustain you. Sometimes we give our resources away, and then we have to go look for help somewhere else, right? That is number one, giving from your abundance instead of giving from your reserves. It's a big difference, man. I have things that I'm putting to the side for me and my family and my future, right? If I give away my reserves and something happens to me where I can't produce the way I'm producing now I'm in a position where people will have to give unto me, right? I don't want to be in that position. I want to allow my resources to build and overflow, and then that overflow is where I give unto others. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying don't be a giver and don't be a cheerful giver. What I'm saying is we're supposed to be giving from the abundance of our resources when they begin to overflow. As I'm building my resources up, I may not be as freely with my giving because I'm building my resources to the abundance of overflow. And once I put everything in place, those things overflow abundantly, and I will have an unlimited amount of resources to give and to sow unto others, right? So that's number one. Number two, are you giving or are you sowing in good ground, right? Are you giving and are you sowing in good ground? What do I mean by that? Some of you guys are taking your reserves and you're trying to be a blessing to others, but the people you're being a blessing to is like you putting a seed on concrete. Will that seed ever germinate? Will that seed ever grow? No, you have to put the seed in soil, and preferably good aerated, nutritious soil, so that thing can germinate, so it can grow. So don't put your seeds, don't continue to give to people who always need you to continue to give to them, because what that says is they're not doing anything to fix their situations that's causing them to need the gift in the first place. If you continue to give to them and they continue to need, that's called a leech. And what you're doing is not sowing, you are carrying a dependent. Hope you guys heard that. If you are continuously giving to people who always need, then you are not sowing seeds. You are carrying dependence. Write that off on your taxes, but that's not the sowing and reaping principles from the Bible. Right? You sow into people who are grinding, people who are trying to do the things, and people who are trying to overcome their struggles. Right? You don't continuously sow into people who are continuously in need, because those people aren't doing anything to fix their situation. So you're casting your pearls among swine. Stop that. If you're going to be a blessing to, you're going to be blessed. If you're blessed to be a blessing to others, then you have to sow your seeds into good ground. Now, I know there's another principle that says that I will reap where I do not sow. And some of that comes from the kindness of your good heart, where you do give to people all the time, even though those people aren't doing anything to manifest any blessings in their own life. You're giving, giving, giving. So sometimes you can cast scatter seeds, and some of them fall on the concrete, but your act of scattering those seeds will cause you to reap where you do not sow. And that's cool. But if you want to control your blessings, if you want to make certain that you reap a harvest for everything that you sow, you want to be careful to only sow in good ground. Now, I'm not saying that you don't help friends and family and all that kind of stuff, because I do that. What I'm saying is, if friends and family are in a repeated state of always needing help, then they need something other than me giving them money. They need something other than, they might need some of my financial coaching. They might need something other than. So you have to be careful, because some people are very good at being they stay perpetually in a state of need, right? And sometimes my wife is good at helping people, and I look at the things that those people do in their lives, and I say, you know what? That's why y'all always need help, because look at what you're doing with your resources. And if we continue to help people like that, we're carrying them as dependents. We're not sowing seeds that's going to eventually blossom, because here's what we're doing. Here's what you should be doing. The purpose of giving is to help someone else, to sow a seed in someone else, and that person is going to take that seed and they're going to allow it to germinate, and they're going to grow, and eventually that person themselves is going to start bearing fruit, meaning they're going to have an overflow in their lives, and they're going to be able to go bless a lot of other people. But if you're sowing seeds and you're blessing people who are not growing, or who are not considered good soil, they never produce an overflow in their lives, and they will never bless anybody else. So my blessing that I use to bless them with stops with them. My blessing. So I'm trying to be a blessing to others, but I don't want my blessing to stop with the person I'm blessing. If the person I'm blessing is not doing anything to grow and to manifest blessings in and of themselves, so that they can create an overflow in their lives, so they can be a blessing to hundreds and thousands of others, then the seed that I sowed in them stops right there, dies right there. And that's not the type of person I want to sow a seed into. I want to sow a seed where that seed has a legitimate chance to grow and to create an overflow in that person's life, and they have the consciousness when that cup starts to run it over, then they take the overflow and they bless other people with it. Right? Professional, independent dependence. That's exactly what people are sometimes, man. And we have to be careful and understand how to recognize someone who is truly in need versus somebody who is leeching off of us. Right? Somebody who's leeching off of us. Because what happens is, when somebody is leeching off of us and they are attached to us as a dependent and not good ground for us to sow in, we're taking our abundance, and some of us are actually taking our reserves and sowing into those people, when we could be sowing into other places that will create and create a harvest and an overflow in their lives, where they will be able to bless others. Now you get a perpetual blessing. Because guess what? Here's how the system works. Here's how the system works. If I plant an apple tree, and that apple tree grows and it bears fruit, and for whatever reason, if I fall completely off and my resources are depleted, I can always go back to that apple tree and not ask for any apples, right? Just ask for a couple seeds. And I take those seeds and I plant those seeds and grow me a few more apple trees. And now my resources start all over again. Right? But if you're sowing seeds into someone who's not producing a harvest, what happens when you fall down on your luck? Where do you turn to? Right? Who do you turn to? So you have to be careful about where you sow. Right? Have to be careful. Number one is what you sow. Are you sowing from your overflow, or are you sowing from your reserves? Right? Because I get the feeling sometimes that and I'm not talking about anybody, I'm talking about me and my family, because my wife is an awesome giver, man. But I get the feeling sometimes that God is looking down on us and saying, man, do you know where you guys could be if instead of giving from your reserves, you allowed your reserves to build to the overflow, and then you can bless a lot more people instead of blessing the same people that you're blessing over and over, and they're not doing anything with those blessings? They're not doing anything with those gifts and those seeds that you're sowing in them. Do you know where you could be right now? That I get that feeling, right? And that's where this message came from. It's like, okay, sometimes I don't see how blessed I am because I'm always giving my blessings away. Right? Sometimes we can't see how blessed we are because we're always giving our blessing away. And I think God is saying, you know what? Stop giving your blessing away. Let your blessings accumulate till they become overflow, until they start running over. Because once they start running over, now you have the wherewithal to be a blessing to someone, to be a true blessing to someone. Because when you bless or you sow seeds or you give from your reserves, you give with reservation, right? So if I'm giving from my last, right, I'm giving from the little bit I have, I give with reservation. And I do that all the time. And this is why this message is for me. I'm just sharing it with you, but I'm really talking to myself. I give from my reserves, so I give with reservation. And in order for me to get the blessings that I truly need, I need to be a cheerful giver. But when you're splitting your last in half, sometimes it's hard to be happy about giving that away. Like, this is all I got. And every time I turn around, you need something. So now I got to split all I got with you to help keep your lights on. So that's not me being a cheerful giver. So that's why you should be giving from your overflow and not your reserves. And that's what messes us up sometimes, is that because we're giving from our reserves, we're not a cheerful giver. Sometimes it's better to say, no, I don't have it. No, I can't afford it. No, I'm not in position. And let those people figure it out on their own. But if I allow my blessings to bubble up and overflow, hold it straight when someone needs something, and I can stroke a check and be happy and cheerful about it because I'm not taking from my reserves. I'm not taking from the resources that is meant to keep my lights on, to help somebody else keep their lights on. Now I become a cheerful giver, right? But the second caveat still applies, that even though I have an abundance, I don't take my abundance and let somebody leech off my abundance. Yes, I might stroke a check to keep your lights on or keep your rent paid this month. Next month, you're going to have to go somewhere else and get charity from somewhere else. Because if you need help with your rent every month, you have a bigger problem. And me stroking a check every month ain't fixing that problem. So you want to put yourself in position to be a cheerful giver. But sometimes when you're giving from your reserves, it's hard to be cheerful, man. Because we know they come with those sob stories and they need it at this particular time. And it's like, man, at this time, all I got is this, but I love you so much. I know that I should be giving. I'm going to go ahead and split my last with you to give. And your Heavenly Father is looking down saying, hey, that's yours. That's yours. That's yours. That's going to create an overflow in your life. But if you keep giving it away, you never get to the place where you have an overflow. So now you both are struggling. One of you can create an overflow, and then that overflow can bless thousands. But because you keep giving your resources away, now you can only bless 2 or 3, and all of y'all are struggling at the same level. So you have to understand that. So number 1, give from your overflow and not from your reserves, right? Give from your abundance, not your own resources. See, we all have the resources that we need to run our households. So for instance, if it costs you $3,000 to run your household and you got $3,000 and somebody needs something, just because you got $3,000 right now, don't mean you can afford to give it to them. That $3,000 is for my household. If I got $3,001 and somebody needs something, man, I got $1 for you at this time, but it's all I got right now. That's all I got right now is this $1. Because the $3,000 is already spent. This is what it costs me to run my household. I don't give you part of my $3,000 and then me be struggling at the end of the month trying to figure out how I'm going to make up what I gave you. That's how we live. That's how we live, and we believe that that's okay because God says give and it will be given to you. Yeah, but you should be given to you from your overflow. That's why when you follow his word, he blesses you to have an abundance. But that might go back to the way some of you guys believe. Some of you guys believe there's something wrong with prosperity and abundance. That ain't what the book I read teaches me. Some of you guys have a problem with prosperity and abundance, right? But everything that is created on this planet is created in abundance except for money, because God didn't create money. So you better start understanding what real wealth is. And wealth is more than just money. Yes, you can have a lot of money and be wealthy, but you can have a lot of money and a lot of bills and be broke. So you better start understanding what real wealth is. Wealth is more than money, right? Abundance, you can have abundance of so much in your life, guys. Scarcity is false. There's no such thing as scarcity. Scarcity is man-made to keep people in bondage. There's no such thing as scarcity. Look out your window. I got a big picture window right here in my kitchen. I mean, I'm in my kitchen area, and I'm always look out to my common ground. And I mean, there's an abundance of everything out there, right? People are homeless, right? Don't have places to live, yet everything that is used to build a house comes from the earth. Do y'all understand that? People are homeless in the earth. So when I see a homeless person, I say that person doesn't have a home because our economic system is designed that way. But at the same time, there's an abundant amount of trees out here that grow and replenish themselves over and over so they could have a house if it wasn't for man's intervention. Bricks are made from sand, clay, and heat. Where is there a shortage of sand, clay, and heat? Is there such thing as a shortage of sand, clay, or heat? So you mean we can't produce enough bricks so that everybody on this planet has a place to stay? Of course we can. There's no such thing as scarcity, right? But you have to understand these principles so you can take your life to another level in this fallen man system. See, what we have to understand is how to use godly principles in a fallen system that doesn't recognize God as the supreme being. That's cool. You don't have to recognize him, but I know how to use his principles within your system so that I never have a shortage of anything. I don't subscribe to scarcity. There's no such thing as scarcity, right? So we're talking about blessed to be a blessing. Give and it shall be given to you. But here's the caveat. Give from your abundance and not from your resources or your reserves. Give from your abundance, but not from your resources or your reserves. Do I take my retirement money and pull my retirement money out and help somebody pay their rent? No. Because that's my reserve. Do I take my $3,000 that it take me to run my household this month, pinch $500 off to help somebody else run their household? No. But when my resources needed is $3,000 and I create wealth in my life and I have an abundance of $4,500 every month, then yes, I can peel off that $4,500 and help somebody with their rent, help someone keep the lights on, help feed somebody. So we've got to understand how this whole thing works. Number two, are you sowing into good ground? Look at the people that you are giving to. Do they always need to be given to? If that's the case, they have a bigger problem. That's the case, they have a bigger problem. And again, if you're given to the same people all the time, then you're not sowing seeds, you're carrying dependence. Claim them on your taxes, right? And then number three, are you nurturing those seeds that you've sown. Right? See, sometimes people need the wealth of your time in their lives and not the wealth of your money. Sometimes people need the wealth of your time in their life, the wealth of your other resources in their life, and not the wealth of your money. So I can look at people and see they're grinding, they're pushing, they're pressing, they're trying to make things happen. And I can say, you know what, let me spend a little time with them to see how many other ways I can help them. Not just monetarily, but maybe I can go to my resource of books in my library and pull out a book and say, you know what, read this one, man. Where you are in your life, I think if you read this one, you'll get some breakthroughs. Sometimes it might be a matter of taking the resources of some of the people I know and say, you know what, where you are in your life, I think this will be a good connection with you. Why don't you come to this lunch with me? I want to introduce you to some folks. See, sometimes are you nurturing the seeds that you have sown yourself or the seeds that others have sown into people? Or you can help nurture. See, the Bible says one plants, the other waters, and somebody else harvests. So sometimes I can be the water on the seed that somebody else sown. I see people grinding. I see people getting after it, and I can help them in other ways than giving them money. And those seeds that you sown, or sometimes helping someone nurture the seeds that someone else has sown, is equally important to help that person get to a place of producing an overflow in their lives. Now they can give from their abundance. They can give from their abundance. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Yvette. Thank you guys for tuning in. So are you sowing seeds from your abundance? Right? Are you sowing seeds in good ground? And when there is no need for you to sow monetarily, are you still nurturing those other seeds? And sometimes you sow into people who don't need money, and you see what they're doing. Say, you know what? I just want to bless you. Right? Sow into somebody who's already got some things going on. That's sowing into good ground. And you don't believe that's a biblical principle? What happened to the man who the master who left the talents, the 5, the 2, and the 1 talent with his servants when he left? When he came back, the one who buried the talents, he took that one from the one that who had the least and gave it to the one who had the most. Sometimes you can sow and be a blessing to people who already got stuff. Help them build and create their abundance so they continue to be a blessing to other people. Now you get into residual blessings for helping that situation. Come on, man. You guys got to know how biblical principles work. Know how these universal principles work. These laws and things, these unseen laws and these things, how they work in the spirit world, man, so that you can maintain and continue to push forward and grow and be blessed yourself. And that's just a cycle that repeats. But here's what we're doing. We're repeating the wrong cycle because we're constantly blessing people who are not doing anything with the blessings to create overflow in their lives. I can't tell you how many people I've blessed and not even gotten a thank you from them. I can't tell you the amount of people that I've sown seed into and have not even gotten so much of a thank you. And those people are perpetually in a state of needing a blessing. So some of those people need to be fixed in other areas. Don't you give up all your resources trying to fix those people. You continue to build your resources until your cup runneth over. When your cup runneth over, that's when you can be the best blessing that you can be to those around you and even to those who you don't know. Right? Let's do a quick Q&A, and then I've got to get out of here. I've got to go be a blessing. Our church just acquired our new property, so we're going to go start fixing it up, painting it, and all of that good stuff. Any questions on blessed to be a blessing? And I hope you guys don't take this the wrong way that I'm saying you shouldn't give, you shouldn't help out a family member and that kind of stuff. I hope y'all don't take it that way, but just understand being a blessing, being blessed to bless someone else is you want that to be you want there to be a continual and perpetual cycle of blessing. If I bless somebody to pay their rent, and they'll take the rent money that I blessed them with, and they buy some Jordans for their kids, that blessing stops right there, right? On the other hand, if I bless somebody who needed to pay their rent, and they take that money to pay their rent, and that helped them get on their feet, and then from there, they stand on their own too, and they grow abundance in their lives, and then they start blessing other people, I get a reciprocal blessing from that. So it continues. The blessing didn't stop there. So you have to be careful about blessing those who are in a perpetual state of needing a blessing, because that's not sowing into good ground, right? And sometimes I bless people who I know that are sowing into good ground. I need to stop that, because that's being an enabler to some of those people. And sometimes you just have to say, no, I don't have it, so that they can get off their butt and get on their own too and start pressing, right? Because sometimes when you're pressing towards the mark, that's all it takes for an abundance of resources to open up to you. And then you can see all the resources that you have access to, and you can use those to create abundance in your life. And then as you get your overflow, you start blessing other people. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any questions? Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, we're going to talk about how you can let Uncle Sam pay for Christmas. Let Uncle Sam help you pay for Christmas. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Questions. I got time for a couple quick questions if we have any. If not, then I hope you guys enjoyed this. Keep in mind, guys, if you have want to download Talking Money in the Morning Live, you can now do that at Stitcher.com. All you have to do is do a search on Talking Money in the Morning Live, and all of the podcasts that already have been uploaded are there. I think there's about 6 or 7 of them. I'll upload another 4 or 5 today, starting with today's and Fridays. And then I always go back to the beginning and get some of those early shows on too. So if you want to download the podcast, yes, tomorrow, 7 a.m. And if you came on late, guys, I apologize. I mixed you up because I starting the show later and later, but the official start time is 7 o'clock. So I'm getting back on track with 7 a.m. start time, but you can always download the podcast if you missed some of this one and you want to take it on the go. Just go to Stitcher.com, search Talking Money in the Morning Live, and all of the uploaded podcasts will be there, and you can download them and take them on the go. Got some great stuff out there already. If you haven't listened to some of the previous shows, then some of the archive shows are out there too. Good morning, caught you late. Thank you. Have a great day. Yes, appreciate that. And then for you, those of you who have businesses and you want to support me in All Amateur Sports Network, how you guys like that logo? All right. All Amateur Sports Network is a digital media company, and we cover local high school sports. But I'm covering a major tournament here in the St. Louis area. And if you want to get your message out in front of thousands of people, then you can partner with me. I have sponsorship packages starting as low as $50 on up. So if you want to support me in my endeavors to help bring positive press to young athletes, because we cover the things that they're doing well on and off the field, things that they're doing well in school and in the community. We're just trying to bring positive press, because we know we get enough negative press about our youth and about what they're doing. Everybody wants to cover the ones who are hanging on the street corners and in gangs and all of that, but nobody is giving positive press to the ones who got straight A's and scoring 20 points a game and got 30 scholarship offers academically and athletically. Nobody's giving attention to that kind of stuff. So that's what All Amateur Sports Network is all about. So I would appreciate your help with that. You can make you can sponsor a pregame show, a halftime show, any of the festivities that we have. I'm looking for sponsorship for those activities, and that will help me get the rest of the equipment that I need to do a good job of covering these things. A lot of times I do these highlight videos for these kids. Once they get a hold of them, those things go viral. I got a video right now I put up 2 days ago. It's already got 2,000 views. So imagine if your ad was embedded in that video in a creative way, then you could be getting your message out in front of 2,000 people based on the way that we market. Some of you guys know my online marketing background and how I can help you build your brand. Well, All Amateur Sports Network is going to be another creative tool that you guys can use to build your brand. So support me in that. You can send an email to info@allamateursportsnetwork.com. You can give me a call, 314-874-6887, or you can just inbox me and say, hey, I want to support you. Let me know the amount that you have for advertising, and I can get you the package and let you know what that package includes, what you would need to submit to me to get your ads. If you have little commercials and things of that nature, we can get that all wrapped up into a nice promo package for you as I cover the games. And the games are December 26th through December 29th. So the day after Christmas, that whole week, it's going to be about 20 to 24 games that I'll be covering. So there's plenty space for you to get some ads out there. And so that goes on my blog, my YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, all of the social media platforms that I have for All Amateur Sports Network. You will have the opportunity to get your ad on all of those platforms. And then if you haven't already liked the page, go to All Amateur Sports Network on Facebook, like the page. AA Sports Network on Instagram and Twitter. Follow us there. All Amateur Sports Network on YouTube. You can see some of the videos that we have up already. And then go to allamateursportsnetwork.com where you could see the actual website. If you click on the menu item that says Normandy Holiday Invitational, you will see the page that we have dedicated for that tournament. Your ads can be in all of that stuff, man, for as little as $50 all the way up. So I appreciate your sponsorship in that. With that, if we have no questions, let's see some of the comments. Yes, good project. I appreciate your passion and your spirit. Thank you, Bertina. I think that's how you say your name. Diane, have a great day. Thanks for all you do every day. Much appreciated. Thank you, Diane. Again, Cortez, appreciate your passion and your dedication to sharing your insight and value regarding upliftment, finance, personal development, spiritual wellness, and wealth creation and management. I thank you for that, Drew, man. Every day, man, I've been blessed, man. So I want to be a blessing to others. Good morning, Cortez. Caught you late. Good. 7 a.m. Yep. 7 a.m. tomorrow. We'll be talking about how to get Uncle Sam to help you cover Christmas, right? Tanya McCleaver says, I feel like I'm in church. Plenty of trees in abundance around here. Should be nobody homeless. Exactly right. Yeah, I get that effect, man. Sometimes I got a cousin who every time she sees me says, "Are you preaching yet?" Because she feels that I should be preaching. So I get that. The late Dr. Wayne Dyer stated, "Abundance is not something that we acquire; it is something that we tune into." This statement has always resonated with me. Tune into your abundant life. Yeah. It's something that we tune into. So like when I look out my window and I see everything out there, and I realize that everything that is created comes from that which the Creator gave us. Everything is so. There is no such thing as scarcity. Scarcity is man-made. Scarcity is man-made. Right? So the trick though is to understand how biblical principles and strategies can still function in the world, right? I know that if you're a Christian, you are in the world, but you're not of the world. But guess what? You can use your principles in the world and still get biblical outcomes. You can still get prosperity. You can still get the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's when you apply biblical principles to this fallen man-made created world, right? Some of us are trying to use man's thinking in this man-made world to get ahead, and you can do that, but it's hard to sustain that. If you do it the biblical way, the spiritual way, with spiritual principles, universal principles, then you would take yourself to another level, and it will be easier to sustain, because if you are true to your spiritual principles, then that's how you live anyway. So now you want to learn how to use how you live, your guiding principles in this fallen man-made world to seek the desired effects that you want. All things come from one infinite source of supply, and the supply is infinite, right? Thank you for that, Miguel. and that's my man at Bikes, Brothers and Bikes, right? All things come from one infinite source of supply, and all supply is infinite. All supply is infinite. There's no shortage of anything. If we ever ran out of anything on this planet, then something else would just take its place that we can use in an abundance, right? So with that, guys, I'm going to jump out of here. I got to make a run to the store before I head out to the church and start helping some of the deacons do some work on our new church, guys. I attend People's Community Christian Church, and we just acquired a new property, man, and we're so excited about that. You know, it's an upgrade for us, and we feel that we've been blessed. So they're calling on the congregation to supply any help that we have. And since I'm newly retired, they know that I have some free time during the day to do some stuff. I'm pretty handy, so get out there and help them with that, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in each and every morning. I really, really do. I love you guys. I love coming to you guys every morning. Do me a favor. I forgot to ask, if you haven't already shared the stream, share the stream. I invite people to watch it. Share it on YouTube. Grab the link. Share the YouTube link. And until I talk to you tomorrow, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.